Hi, beautiful ones. My intention with the Shamangelic Healing podcast is to be a platform that explores real-life issues and provides you with valuable insights and practical tools to support you on your journey of healing core wounds and reclaiming your power and manifesting a thriving, impactful life that you absolutely love. You see, it's my dream to inspire millions to shine. So if you find these topics valuable, please take a moment and share the podcast and leave us a rave review. This helps the podcast grow and reach the people that would greatly benefit from these insights. Thank you so much for tuning in and investing in your personal development. I'm right here walking this journey with you. So let's dive into this episode. Welcome to the Shamangelic Healing podcast. Ooh, this is going to be so fun today. We are going to jam with my dear soul sister, a new tribe member to my heart family, Biji, and we're going to talk about shifting from 3D to 5D consciousness to get that wave of release from being bound by 3D density and how to peel back the layers and activate your fifth dimensional consciousness. This is going to be so fun. So I'm so excited. And a couple quick announcements, everybody. We have the ever so coveted womb healing sacred feminine, awakening the sacred feminine virtual series coming up. The doors are opening now for that, and it is starting on September 9th, 4 Thursdays in a row. And that is a juicy journey of really deepening into the womb, clearing out the density, starting from birth all the way through our development to clear out the unnecessary weeds in the garden of our power center and replanting the soul seeds and remembering and activating our true divine essence. So go check that out, grab your spot, limited space, and our fall retreats. Oh, they're already filling and limited space left. Our women's soul awakening retreat is happening in September. Let's see the dates on that, because I always like, what is it? Oh, that is September 17th through the 19th here in Sedona. So go check that out. That's where we really activate soul mission and get a clear vision and roadmap to activate your soul and clear out the density that's in the way of you stepping and leveling up to your soul mission. And then, of course, the ever so coveted Goddess Awakening Retreat here in Sedona with Taylor Simpson. That is coming up October 7th through the 10th. And that's a 4-day immersion here in Sedona. Sacred, beautiful, lots of tears, lots of sisterhood. So if you are called, go and grab your spot to one of those, and we will see you here in Sedona or on the virtual experience for the womb healing sacred feminine. So we got those things happening if you feel that would nourish your soul. Let's dive into my sweet sister and what I think you're going to find that you're going to love about Biji is that she's got this magical essence of being in the bloodline, in her soul bloodline and her DNA bloodline of this shamanic Buddhism that has really been a soul path for her. And it's provided her with the tools, the ceremonies, and the remembering to really activate her spirituality. And I'm sure you will agree when we get jamming that you can feel the essence of her consciousness and that she has put in the work and the time with daily spiritual practices to activate her 5D consciousness and bring it into the 3D everyday living experience so that it can be manifest into the physical reality. And that's what I really get lit up about, is when we take this spiritual consciousness and we embody it and then do something with it here in the 3D. 5D not grounded doesn't manifest anything. It's just up in the ethers. So, and we just dropped an incredible IG live on her Instagram. So go check that out. And so welcome, beautiful soul sister. I'm so excited to have you on the Shamangelic Healing podcast.
Thank you, Anahata. Thank you so much for having me here. You know, it is the culmination of my mission to be sitting here sharing this frequency with and all who are guided to tune in and receive. It is it is a rare frequency, the one of pure love energy. But once you get activated in it within your heart space, nothing else can be fulfilling, and it's worth everything. So thank you, thank you, thank you to invite me in a space where I can feel the pure love energy. So thank you for this.
Yes, we already weave this sweet magic. Will you tell everybody where they can see that IG live that we just recorded today? So um, it would be in your Instagram. Can you tell them where to find that? Because that was a juicy chat.
Oh, it was so good, and everybody was feeling it. Hearts and comments, and you were so activating in everything that you were sharing. And I love what you said about how it doesn't make a difference if you cannot use it to change and impact your everyday life. So everything that you shared impacts us in the here and now, in
Yeah.
the here and now point of creation. And you can find this activating live, where you share the secret sauce. Right from the get go. She shared it like she dropped the mic drop moment right from the beginning. You don't even have to stay the whole time, but after you hear the first part, you're gonna want to. And it's at Love All 5D. It's IG at Love All 5D, and we have a vibrant community of pure hearts from all over the planet who are creating with pure love energy. We can recognize it, we can feel it, and we're not going to settle for anything less here on the new earth.
Right? That's it. It's about not settling anymore. Whether it's any part of your life that's not in alignment, it's like, no, it's got to go. And so if you didn't catch that, we'll also have it in the show notes. That's live, love, all, the number 5D. So go follow this beautiful sister because she's just dropping the magic and the medicine every day. So, all right. What do you find on your journey and with the people that you work with is one of those things that really keeps us in the dense body or keeps us from evolving or awakening into our potential? What are some of those traps in the that you think blocks our energy or our consciousness in the 3D experience?
Right. Well, you mentioned it during our live, which is the victim mentality. It's the victim pathos. It's the victim mind control. It's the victim mindset. And that has really gripped the feminine of the feminines of the planet and those who are holding that feminine frequency. So we're talking about male incarnates and female incarnates. It doesn't matter. We all hold that the feminine energy and the masculine energy. And I feel anytime we fall into the trap of woe is me, you are not going to be creating with pure love frequency. You have no power over your reality in consciousness if you're coming from a place, a distorted place of your own inner matrix. And then you can't see the matrix that's around you. Then how can you connect to truth? How can you connect to real love? Love just becomes a story, not a frequency reality.
Mm-hmm.
So
And it's so true. The victim mentality and the victim is going to be catalyzed from a wound, a betrayal, an abandonment, an experience that, understandably so, may have been very hurtful, may have been very traumatizing, and it feels like to shift from the 3D out of the victim. It's like, yeah, you got to go heal that, and not just I can't do this because, or there's a story about a thing. It's like, okay, if there's a thing, and hey, let's be honest, we all have the things. We all
yeah.
have had the heartbreak, the disappointment, some form of addiction, point, some form of being left or abandoned or wounded. Like, welcome to humanity. And it's and there's different variations of that. And it's not to compare stories, but we've all had some wounding, and it's what you do with that, not to bypass it, but not to be stuck in it. So, what do you recommend in order to evolve out of the victim? What do you find is really helpful to heal the core wound so it doesn't continue to be a story that because it's not healed, it doesn't evolve and we still go back into victim over and over again? What helps that transformation?
I feel like the only way that you can eradicate any ties and attachments to whatever story that's driving your ego for the moment, however the narrative has to be in the moment. If you have conscious awareness around your own behavior and around your own stories, then you have the presence to be able to shift it in the moment. Without that conscious awareness, and you don't even know that you're doing it, and you're in your own state of cognitive dissonance, it doesn't matter who comes in to try to tell you that I love you, you're not going to receive it as love. If it doesn't matter if somebody tries to come and say, "Hey, this is how you're making me feel," you're not going to receive it. Everything is going to be manipulated to fulfill some sort of narrative in the inside to protect that ego. So the more work that you do on yourself, the more inner reflection that you have, the more discipline on a daily basis you have towards your own embodiment of your true self, the one that exists beyond the human attachments. And I know this sounds big. It does. You know, in the beginning when I started my journey, I I on an inherent level, I had an inner knowing that I knew there was going to be enlightenment for me. I knew I was going to get to the other side. And all that meant was that I was on the other side of the cosmic joke. It doesn't mean the jokes stop. It just means don't let the jokes take me down anymore. I have I have enough humor to be able to laugh at at the situations. I have enough presence to not let it drive my reality, or and I don't create with it and I don't destroy with it. And so it's really moment to moment commitment to be present and aware, see your own pathos, and then navigate yourself around it through by going through it. Navigate around it by going through.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I know
That's
there
the
both
cosmic
this,
joke.
this and that, both. You need both. And thank you for that. That awareness is the first step. Awareness that there's a pattern, there's a story, there's a belief, there's a victimhood. And that seems to be one of the common threads in the awakening journey is that the third eye perspective, the witness consciousness, where we start to watch ourselves outside of ourselves, becomes a valuable tool for watching our patterns, kind of like we're stalking ourselves. And until that opens, I don't know that there is as much of the awareness to see the patterns, the unconsciousness. And that's part of the journey is getting outside of self and looking at, is this who I really am? Where did I get here? If there's a part of my life, health, relationships, sexuality, career, money, family, where I live, whatever, all the things, if there's a part that doesn't feel resonant, that doesn't feel in alignment, step back, step back. And I love that you're saying presence and awareness. Get out of the situation, step back and look at, how did I get here? Is this where I want to stay? Did I follow somebody else's dream? Did I give my power away? Is my inner child just from a craving, angry place, just sedating? Am I choosing relationships from a place of insecurity or loneliness? And like, look at how did I get here and what's driving the things that I'm creating in my life and the things that are destroying me or the things that don't feel aligned, and to really get present. And I love that you said presence. And I think that there's this witness consciousness that you said awareness to start looking without judgment. And I think this is very important, without you shouldn't do that or you should know better. When we're in the witness consciousness of spirit or the divine, there isn't a critical perspective. It's just a neutral, oh,
Well,
I think this is an addiction, or oh, I think this is a pattern.
well,
Right?
if you just grab the popcorn, you might find that it's a really good story. I always tell our clients, you know, that when you watch a good movie, you don't want to fast forward through those breakthrough moments because that's the thing that makes you feel. That's the part that makes you go, yes, there's an arc here. there is transformation, and it's very, very activating to experience that vicariously through a character who has gone through the ups and downs and finally gotten to the breakthrough moment. That's what makes a good story. If you are a good author, before you came to this planet and you're writing your own script for your own movie, you're going to put all kinds of experiences in there that make your story good. And so I encourage, instead of just when you walk into a movie that you don't like, you can still enjoy your popcorn. You can still, watch it from that observer neutral place, because if you could see that, then you finally are ready to then create that. So you have to be able to see it before then you're given the codes, the access to the energy to create. You're not going to be able to create in the fifth dimension using your fifth chakra things only of your lower chakras. You're going to have to pass through the heart center on your fourth and make sure that it's all crystallized with love before you're creating here on the new earth. And that's really what's powerful about what's happening on the planet and everyone, and what you're doing, Anahata, with the sacred feminine frequency is activating that part of ourselves that inherently is connected to all possibilities, inherently connected to magic and miracles, inherently connected to the unseen realm, to devotion, to service, to do things out of the motivation of pure love energy, and not through agenda, masking, politicizing, manipulation, all the results of victim mentality. Because people don't just stay victim and not create. They stay victim and then they wreak havoc with that perspective of, I'm a victim, so now I have to protect my heart, and I have to attack you, and then I have to be afraid, and then I have to be neurotic, and then I'm going through all the mother archetype,
Yeah. And
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
warrior archetype as well. The
Absolutely.
greedy warrior, power hungry, feminine or masculine. We're all capable
Right.
of that. We have
Right.
enough of that right now running rampant on the planet, and that's why we also, through a lot of the activation of for being like we're all being activated to see what is in the way of our own spiritual development, our own full potential. We're all being shown left and right what's not working, whether it's a chaotic toxic relationship, whether it is I really don't love, I'm not in my soul work, or I'm not taking care of my body, and so there's a health glitch, um, or a depression or a sadness from a trauma I haven't healed yet, if there or an addiction, a substance that is sabotaging our potential. We're all being shown these things. They're not always comfortable to get the wake up call, um, and yet that is what is coming to be shown so the transformation can happen. Because right now, like you said, we're really needing those frequencies that are coming from creation energy, from an aligned internal alignment and love 5D frequency, because that's what's going to solve the issues here that we're
Ever,
experiencing.
ever.
Whether it's from war, whether it's from hate, whether it's from pollution on the planet or greed or whatever it is, like those are the frequencies coming through you and me, everybody watching and listening. Like nobody's more special than another. We all have the potential to bring through that frequency so that together we can start to create heaven on earth. But it has to come from that internal individual alignment. And yes, we're all being shown what is in the way of that. And we want to recognize that's not always a comfortable reflection. However, embracing that, the transformation, the dark night, the sobriety, the healing, the shifting out of something that isn't resonant into career, health, relationships, spiritual practices, whatever it is, that diet, lifestyle that's more in alignment, that is going to be where our soul is the most happy. That's going to be where we're going to experience the most joy and purpose. Um, Tell me, what was something you kept tripping over in your asleep time What did that, like, what was, what was, I know, like, oh, how much time do we have? What is something you kept tripping up that kept tripping up your transformation or your awakening?
So for me, whenever I was manifesting something, I was creating something, and I was getting in the frequency of something,
Oh,
and I was refining this process because I knew how to do it. I remember being 11 years old, and we went on a drive. We went to San Francisco. I lived in the Bay Area, and we went to San Francisco, and I saw a beautiful gay couple, and they got out of their white BMW convertible, and as an 11-year-old, I said, "That's my car." There was a soul recognition with this car, and I knew I could create it. I knew it was going to be mine. I knew I could manifest it. And so at a young age, I realized I am the creator of my reality. But the refinements that it took, because it's a huge price to pay to create something that your ego is attached to, right? So nothing's for free. Karma comes as undigested, unprocessed energy. That car, when I absolutely received it when I was 16 years old, the exact white BMW convertible came with a huge price tag of spoiled entitlement, projections, my own ego having to reconcile uh, that receiving. And so, you know, I feel like for me, the thing that kept tripping me up is I wanted to be able to create with no ego. I didn't want to create with ego, and so that made my path inherently much more challenging for me, because I set this standard for myself that I was going to have this non-attached relationship with creating, and that if I'm going to create, that I would have to go through all the initiations of only creating what source would have me create, that it wasn't going to be for my ego. And that's what took the longest time, because eradicating my ego was something that I had to really believe that I could do, and I had to be committed to be able to no longer put up with any kind of attachments or behaviors within my lineage, within all my past lives, within all my multidimensional realities, where that wasn't in sync. I had to process. Like, I remember going to one of my first healing sessions and feeling overwhelmed. Like, I can't even do this whole lifetime. Even if I spent my entire lifetime clearing this lifetime, it's not going to be enough time. But over the years, I realized, oh no, I'm not only just doing work for this lifetime, I'm doing this work for since the inception of my conscious energy, since the
yeah.
inception of my soul. I'm going to clear it on a multi-dimensional level. And then I realized, oh, I can't do this in real time. I can't do this in 3D. I got to go quantum. So if I'm going to go quantum, I better start believing in quantum. And we
Right.
hit a point in our journey, right? Anahata, I'm sure you experienced this. You hit a point in your journey where you either are going to believe everything or you're going to believe in nothing. And I chose, because because that commitment within me to accept that this was a possibility was the driving force for me to believe in everything. And I that's why we have love all 5D, because when you fully accept what is, it is absolutely possible to love all, because everything really is from the divine. And these aren't just words, it's something that I frequency experience on a daily basis. I feel the frequency, the joy, the sacred nature of life. I feel the privilege of being in service. I feel the joy of not creating anything from my own ego. I feel that, and it allows me to love all. And that's what allows the new earth to be in existence through us. And so this possibility that I'm presenting to all of you who are listening, this isn't heaven, something that you're going to earn after you die. This is the now moment that you choose to feel by opening up your heart frequency and allowing the love frequency to flow through you. And that's really all it is.
it's a lot easier than we think it is. And we were talking about this morning on the live of just clearing out what's in the way, like you said, ego or greed or lineage stuff, limitations, attachments. Those are all things that are blocking the clear channel of light, truth, love, your soul awareness, your manifestation, like in the 3D, your fullest expression. All of those things that you were mentioning, of just that attachment. And I've noticed even more recently that when I really, really, not just pretensies, but
Right.
really, really, without attachment, my literally my hands go way, way back here that says, okay, if the door is closing, it's because it's not my door. Now, the ego would be attached to opening that door. The ego is like, no, my door right now. I've already decided, already walked
No,
already
I'm
through.
here.
I know what I want. And it's like, that's clever. But when you're in 5D collaboration, fifth dimensional, multi-dimensional co-creation, there is not this one deciding the thing. It's allowing that what would be in the highest divine alignment, what is the right thing right now for my soul, for this project or for this relationship or for this body to experience. Then there is the release of attachment to what happens next and how it happens. And at the same time, there's also an acceptance to, okay, spirit, soul, creator, source, I'm ready for this now. I'm ready for this now. I'm ready for this now. And I have watched the acceleration, BG, of when I get out of the way and I'm like, and I really feel it, mean it, and trust it. Okay, I'm ready for this now. I'm ready for this now. Within 15 minutes, within 30 minutes, I get the text. A friend is like, oh, I know somebody that does this thing. I'm like, of course, which is 5D manifestation, where it's not happening in linear time. When we're in that co-creation with the 5D, we're like, okay, we're in partnership. We're not in dissonance
Right.
with the 5D. And I would add one of the things that blocks that fifth dimensional living consciousness is when we receive an insight, a message, a truth, the la 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 la, I don't want to hear it, or I don't want to face it, or that's too big for me, or I don't want to let go of that thing, or no, I don't think this relationship is over. I don't want, I don't, I'm not ready to see that or acknowledge that. And I think that's one of the ones that I tripped over for a long time. Not that it ain't a work in progress. Let's just be clear. I still test it on this daily. Um, of because we can have clairvoyance and see things, but we can also have clair ignorance to ignore things, and clair avoidance to avoid things. Because I'm really good at those. Because sometimes the message that comes through is big, or it's something we don't want. It's a different timeline, or the path takes a 180 and our humanness hasn't caught up with the pivot or the 180 or the shift, or we're jolted by one of those shifts and we have to kind of catch up. And I get that, but I find that when there's really a total to surrender, the magic accelerates, like exponentially,
Absolutely. And then you don't
way,
have to be
way beyond
enlightened,
that
and
I
you
can
don't have
manifest in the future.
yeah, and you don't have to be enlightened, and you don't have to be perfect to call in and tap into this quantum field, because that only exists in the 3D matrix of it has to meet these certain standards. All we have to do, and that's why we say it's simple hard, is all we have to do is allow what is to be. And when we don't fight that, then the magic and miracle is here. It's not about being perfect. It's about being aware of your authentic frequency and what you're vibrating on. It's not enlightenment. All enlightenment means to me is that I'm at peace with what is, and I am okay with with however my frequency wants to show up to create in this moment, I accept it because I trust it, because I've trusted it before. And I have the self discipline and the spiritual maturity to not let myself get in my own way. And that's
That's
all it
me.
is.
Oh, sure.
And
That's
I'm
all.
laughing because I don't know if you can hear all the howler monkeys that are
Yes.
joining
Yes.
in on the conversation.
Like,
They've got so much wisdom to share right now. I'm like, okay, I'm listening to them. I'm listening to you.
they're like, go, sister, go. Right. Because, just not getting in the way. But,
Uh-huh.
well, I know I've noticed on my journey my habit of getting in the way, meaning like, no, well, I've already figured out the plan, so there's attachment to, no, I want it this way, or I want it in this timeline, or I want this partner, or I want these finances, and I've already decided. And so getting in the way for me looked like that. Getting in the way for me looked like not asking, not listening, or just, totally ignoring the intuition, the divine guidance, the inner knowing. um I think that I got in the way lots of times that way. Definitely the victim leaked a lot of energy, wasted, lots of time. Not wasted, but just put everything that was possible on pause for quite a while, just so that I could go into victim and sedate for a full decade, and or longer, whatever it was, and there's got to be a willingness and a readiness to look at where there's self-sabotaging, a belief, a trauma, a story, an experience in your life that isn't in alignment. What was one of those for you that was not in alignment, where it was more your, some of your more darker, challenging times
Yes.
that
Yes.
have helped you to be who you are now? Because like that's not, you know that where you were the most disconnected. What did that look and sound like in your life?
Okay. So I want to just share when you ask that question, I just want to start off by saying that there's no way we can fail at this. Our soul and our higher self, our path, our blueprint coding, it makes it impossible for us to fail at this. It's what experience do we want to have while we're in it? Because you're not failing when you're not succeeding, you're in it and you're experiencing. What do you want to experience? And so for me, I needed to experience being on, absolutely having to take heart leaps over and over and over again, where I got to that place where I just didn't think I could do this anymore. We when I was a single mom for a long time. I have an 18-year-old son and I have a 15-year-old daughter. We earned our stripes. We raised them as conscious kids, and we took them on a journey. We wanted to show them what it was like to follow your heart and go into the nothing and really work with just the divine. And we found ourselves in a small town called Moscow, Idaho, and we didn't even realize this town existed. We were in Portland at the time, trying to settle and start our business there, and everything just showed us it's not here, it's not here. And I went to, I contacted every seer, healer I could. Where are we supposed to go? I'm flipping out. We're gonna be homeless. What are we gonna do? And nobody. And that's the thing. Sometimes these things won't come through because you're supposed to figure it out.
Yeah.
And so we did. Nico, my incredible Sacred Union partner, he started looking around 5 hours around the vicinity and found this little town. We YouTubed it, and the only video we found is of a real estate agent who was talking about the house. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, "This is the place we're going in. We're going in here." And initially, it was scary because we had to figure out how to make money in order to stay in this town, to figure out why we were here in the first place. We left Los Angeles, we left our life, we left our business. We didn't come to this small town just to be now small town healers. And so we were like, why are we here? And so I looked at Miko one day and I said, it's time for us to figure it out. We're going to go into our very first winter ever. And it was our very first winter. We've never lived in a place. I've only lived in coastal places.
Idaho is not a Southern California winter, nothing, right? Yeah,
Uh-huh. And it
yeah.
was their worst winter ever. And we had just barely moved into this house. There was no furniture. Our kids were young at the time. And I told them, this Christmas is going to be nothing. If we're here, we're trying to do this thing. We're going to make sure that our families didn't know where we were. We made sure every source of income that was coming in was closed off. And I don't know, we didn't have a plan. We were going to go in. So we spent our last $6 on snacks and we watched a movie as a family. And I just, for weeks, watched the food supply dwindle. And every single minute was so confronting. I just didn't think I was going to make it. And I thought, and I come from my human story. I come from network television. I was in news and I was just seeing the headlines. Crazy lady takes her family and they, freeze to death. And she thinks God's gonna save her. I'm just like, this is crazy. I'm banging my head against the wall, literally every single moment, wondering if this is not gonna work. And that was my first nothing. I went into this nothing, and on a embodied frequency level, I experienced the nothing. And there was a moment where my father's email came through to me, and he had emailed and he said, I don't know where you are. I don't know how you're doing. I don't know anything, but uh, I've got a house for you. Just come home. You never have to work again. Just bring yourself and your family home. This is, we want you back. And we got that email. I looked at Miko and I said, I think the town has a little food pantry where they give food away for hungry families, and they open at 3. And Miko said, all right, I'm going to go to the gym and then I'm come pick you up and we're going to go do that. So we ended up, after I confronted that first layer of nothing, we ended up, for me, that's when I actually received my 0 point frequency. And because I didn't know anything about it, I never studied it. I'm not a sciencey person. I didn't know anything about the 0 point field or how it worked. This information was downloaded into me, and then the 0 point field was locked into my heart. And what I realized when this was happening, it was like 2 a.m. I had woken up from my daily sadhana practice, but at this point, I was always in sadhana. There was no point in the day where I wasn't in sadhana. And I just put on my clothes, went out in the middle of the night while everybody was sleeping, and I just got out down on my knees in the field somewhere in the snow, and I just said, "This is it. This is surrender exactly." And I realized nothing also means no ego. Nothing also means no more doubt. Nothing means no more fear. Why? Nothing feels so good. Why was I fighting this so much? And I passed through the tiny little pinhole portal into the other side. And once I started realizing, oh my gosh, I love feeling this complete sense of I'm a dandelion in the field. I'm now here just in service. I get that I'm taken care of. I get that I can't fail at this. I get that the magic of miracles are here. And then my frequency started elevating, and I said, oh no, I'm going into everything.
From
And
no
sure
thing to all
enough,
things, right?
all things. And then within days, within hours, thousands of dollars started coming in. And we have gone through iterations of that over and over. And I've gone through that, not just financially, I've gone through that with my own health. I was diagnosed with cancer, and I miraculously healed that when I was 21 years old. They told me I had 6 months to live, and I surrendered and I said, I'm ready to go. God, I am ready to go. And I accepted and I surrendered. And then the next week, my surgery got canceled because the test results all came back completely negative. They couldn't justify the
Yes.
surgery, and they wanted me to keep coming back for tests because they didn't understand how this could happen. And I said, no, no, this story is over for me. And now I know I'm on the other side of this. So on a body frequency, there's no story that you can't heal without with conscious energy. On a heart trauma level, there's nothing that you can't heal without this conscious frequency. And what is conscious frequency? Conscious frequency is, like you said, in our life, it's pure love energy. And
Mhm.
through this process of going through nothing, we were gifted Avala. And Avala is a mantra that has and holds the frequency of pure love conscious energy of the new earth. And this is what we're sharing with the planet. This is our mission, is to make it fun, to make it light, to remind each other that we can play because we have already won. The light has won. You have won. You're a winner. You were never a loser. There's no way we could fail at this. Let's have fun together. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to be like, namaste, it's not about that. It's who wants to party with me here in 5D? Who
Right?
wants to
Let's
create
have
with
some
me?
fun.
Who, who has done all this work? So now it's time to play and
Yeah.
and create. That's what I'm calling in. I'm calling in the effortless and ease. I'm calling in that sacred feminine frequency of allowing ourselves to be in the heart center without judgment, without shame, without shutting down, without masking, hiding, politicking, agendizing, manipulating, all those things that we do when we see ourselves as victims. So once you start to realize that you're a creator and you're present to your creating, and you can either create beautiful things that you like to experience, or you could create horrible things that you're used to experiencing. It actually doesn't really matter to source because you're in the playground. So either
Well,
you're
you have
building a
will.
sandcastle or you're riding swings. It doesn't really matter.
That all comes down to we have will. We have
Yeah.
will. We don't have to evolve. It's a choice. If you want to create magic in your life, you can. If you want to throw sand at people, you can get sand in your eyes too. That's all. It's all
Love
good.
all.
There's no opinion from the universe. It's like, oh, interesting choice. You know,
Yes.
and we've done that.
Yes.
We've both done that. Thrown the sand, had the thrown sand at us, throwing the tantrum, numbing, sedating, ignoring, being in fear, like scrambling, hustling, blaming, being disembodying, self-sabotage, all the things, right? And yeah, all the things. And it's a choice. And I think that awakening from bringing 5D down is a choice. It's also a remembering, all right, I'm ready. Because I might not see it yet, but I have an inclination. I remember when I was going through my awakening, I had a knowing that there was more potential, more light inside, but I didn't know how to access it. I didn't know then that, and the process kind of intuitively was like, let's clean out the rage and the anger and the pain first, because what I was creating from that place was, of course, sedation and self-destruction with alcohol and sugar in my body. Since I was quick to anger or impatience or blame, I was creating chaos in my relationship and stress, because there was always like the grubbing the grabbing and the gripping for money and power and next level in business. That what I was creating was stress and anxiety and chaos in my life, and like some hangovers and some, I always say some is a very polite way of saying that. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. Creating a lot of chaos, not only for my own body and my own energy body, but also for those around me. And I know I started off as a very joyful and playful light being when I was younger. And then, the layers start happening, the distortions, the residue of the untrue things leave their mark. And then what just kind of happened naturally was, all right, let's clean house first. Physical cleansing and detoxification, emotional cleansing and detoxification, like reclaim the power to where it was given away, heal the wounds, forgive self, forgive others, reclaim the voice. And all of that had to happen with a perspective of, I can do this, I'm a butterfly. Okay, now I just need to get everything out of the way so that I can unshackle the butterfly so I can set her free again, because it was just a remembering and a reconnecting to that. And it's just been like refinement after refinement since that initial awakening. um, but there's this belief that I am more than I was told, or this belief that is, I am more and capable of more than what I was taught about myself. I don't know if anybody else really feels that what is limiting them is a belief system that has been adopted, and the remembering, the shifting
Yes.
from 3D to 5D is like, oh, I'm an unlimited potential. Huh. That's a
And
game changer,
like,
right? 5D
absolutely.
truth change. If that's true, then that changes everything. Just that one
Everything.
thing, right?
Yes. Just that one piece of conscious energy, if it was taught to our young, if it was taught to us when we were young,
Right.
right? If that's something that is reinforced in in our media, if it was reinforced in the matrix, which
Mhm.
obviously that's never going to be reinforced
we
there,
are we are
but
infusing the matrix mixed with a new consciousness.
right,
We're
absolutely.
actually hacking the matrix and putting in a new program, the original program, right? We're reinstalling the original program.
Right, right. And that's why, yeah, absolutely. And that's why I spend the majority of my frequency reinforcing that truth that you're sharing, Anahata, is that you are a divine soul being, and I am here to remind you of your highest timeline. I'm here to show you and allow you to feel the frequency of your highest timeline, because if you don't believe it within yourself, you're going to at some point you're going to take that hard leap to believe maybe somebody else who's tapped in, and you're going to ride their faith for a little while until you can take the training wheels off and do it for yourself. I needed that in my life. How much have I spent money I didn't think I had in going to retreats, going to I had at one point I had 3 healers I was seeing a week. I mean, I was intense because I didn't want to get to this side when I was all old and not able to enjoy my peace. I wanted to get there when I was young enough to go, okay, I did that work. Now I'm just gonna live. I'm gonna let myself live and enjoy life with inner peace. Otherwise it just wasn't worth living for me. Why would I want to live in my own personal hell if I could do something about getting out of hell? Why would I want to create love relationships, food relationships, money relationships in my own personal hell? No, thank you. I needed to get out, and getting out of my head landed me landed me in my heart frequency, and there I found all possibilities. So absolutely, I am here and you are here, and we're constantly reminding everyone that this is real. What we're talking about is real path to wholeness, to inner peace, to creating with love, to be in acceptance, to polish the silver every single day, chop wood, carry water, and find joy in that,
Yeah.
because you're not attached to anything. Like you said, not attached to when it needs to come in, how it needs to come in, who it needs to come in with. It's more along the lines of working through each of those frequencies when something happens not the way we want, and looking at that as the experience. It's not
Hmm.
about trying to get to the end of the movie, it's enjoying that movie, every moment of the movie. I will share one more moment in my movie. When the second time we went into nothing, we were living in Laguna Beach, and we knew we were going to go into another layer of that depth of nothing. Uh, And we sent our children off to their respective, you know, um, grandparents' homes and stuff so they could do their work. And Miko and I found ourselves with our one apprentice for the whole summer without a home. We lived out of our car.
Mhm.
And I remember laying there. We had a beautiful new car, so that was the gift. And then we also we were gifted with. See, the universe always takes care of us. We had a membership to a really nice luxurious gym, and so we had that, and we had this car, and we knew this was our way of getting initiated into another layer of nothing. And I had this feeling that I needed to go find a temple, a Buddhist temple in California. I don't know where we were going to find it. And this Buddhist temple was going to house us and feed us until we could get our legs and figure out what the next steps were. So we started driving and kind of knew where it was. We ended up going to this one temple, and the Buddhist monk there said, "This place is not for you. You need to leave. We're not going to take care of you. This is not in alignment, but there's another place that you might want to check out. Everything's written in Korean, so I can't decipher what it says, but you might want to check that place out." Sure enough, we went down the road, and I called the gentleman who happened to answer his phone, and it was another Buddhist monastery, but it was for Korean people only, and he invited us in, and we stayed there for 7 days while he took care of us and gave us food. And guess what? We did a healing session with him, and it turned out that he was isolated there, and he was till he died. He was going to just die alone, and that was his
Mm.
plan. And so 4 days into it, he gets really drunk, which he said he hasn't drank in a really long time, but he was really triggered. So he left. He took our car and went and got a lot of alcohol. Came back, drank himself silly, and then asked if he could talk to me. And he shared a story. And the reason he let us in is because I looked exactly like the young woman when he was 17 years old. He was a gangster. He was part of a. He saw this young girl playing piano in the window shop, and he kidnapped her, and he raped her, and he had a child with her, and he never forgave him since. So he that was the beginning of his awakening path. From that
Yeah,
point on,
probably the beginning of his disease, disease,
right,
right? Yeah,
absolutely. And so for
in its various forms.
40 years, he devoted his life to being a monk and to clear his, in repentance, to clear his consciousness. And we were led and guided there. There's no way otherwise we would have gone to this place. And I was able to, through this young woman's appearance that I seemed to resemble, I was able to give him forgiveness.
Yeah, right.
And I was able to share conscious love. And he allowed himself to be forgiven. I said,
Mm.
"You're not meant to be here and die. You have paid. You have paid the price. It's time for you to go find your son, go back to your family and
Mm-hmm.
live."
Yeah.
And he ended up leaving the monastery with us, and we dropped him off with his family.
Oh, such a beautiful journey. I just want to honor the following the clues of synchronicity and trusting and allowing, okay, we're living out of our car. That's what it is. And to trust that you're guided to the right things and away from the wrong things.
Yes,
Because we could be like harboring anger towards somebody that closed a door, like the first monastery that closed a door. We could be harboring, resentment towards somebody that wounded us in the past, or towards ourselves, like the second monk was harboring resentment towards himself for, his unconscious choices. And I don't know about any of you, but we all have made unconscious choices and harmed somebody else in the process. It doesn't always look like rape. It can be something where we physically um, or we said something, or it wished someone harm, or took something from them, or judged them, criticized them. We all, like, there isn't anybody that isn't really being honest with themselves that has
Absolutely.
not harmed another human being. And in the journey of shifting from 3D to 5D, like this monk, we get to face our most shadowy selves, the most
Absolutely.
drunk, can't remember, like disrespecting my own body, disrespecting other people, saying and doing hurtful things. Yeah, that's all me. And I had to face all of that in order to, like you said in your Instagram handle, love all. And that means the most darkest parts of ourselves, and
Yeah.
looking at and not holding resentments towards somebody else in their darkest place. Because
Absolutely.
this, when I was doing my own healing, the only way I could forgive the people that had hurt me and not maintain victim status was to heal that person, to heal the wounds, but also to look at the wounding that I had caused, because that's what opens the doors for compassion, is to
Absolutely.
recognize, oh, you know what, I can relate to the person that would harm another person. Yep, I've done that. Not exactly that, but I can relate to the frequency of unconsciousness. And I think that's what opens the doorway to forgive those that have transgressed us, or that do today. Because I don't, don't take it personally if someone closes a door or says a hurtful thing, or throws guilt over this way, or judgment or whatever. Is like, I can relate to that kind of unconsciousness that would close a door, cause harm, or all of it. And I think that that's what shifts from 3D victim to compassionate acceptance. Even if we don't agree with the choice of somebody else, even if we need to have a clear boundary with someone's choices, um, doesn't mean, just because I don't agree with it doesn't mean I don't have to access like compassion for that place that is making that choice. And I think that's where the
Absolutely. And
liberation comes from. And we shift from judgment, 3D in the
yeah,
heart, to love, like unconditional love, more 5D in the heart. Like, that's the journey. We got to look at our own wounds, but also our own unconsciousness.
absolutely. And when you're, approaching your life from a multidimensional perspective, what lifetime haven't you been a victim? What lifetime haven't you been the perpetrator? What, you've been a boy, you've been a girl, you've been a plant, you've been a turtle. There's,
Yeah.
if you believe in the expression of your infinite selves, you have experienced it all, right? And so if you are calling in completion for all that energy to be processed and reconciled in this lifetime, then you have to come to terms with that confrontation of, yeah,
Yeah.
every story is mine. And when I see you, I am you. And when you see me, I am me. And I want to reflect back pure love energy because that's what I want to experience. And when I give it, that's what I reflect back. That's the power of what's happening here in 5D. Instant manifestation of what's in your heart coming right back to you. And if you don't like your reflections, if you're looking around going, this isn't not in alignment, that means something is off in your frequency, and you have to do conscious frequency training. You have to ask those questions and confront those selves, those multidimensional cells of your being, so that you never come from a place of judgment. You always come from a place of compassion and empathy, because that's your connection to yourself. And so for me, I looked at that summer where Miko and I, and right like a week before the kids got home, the money started flowing again. So we were, so if you go into every situation going, this is a gift, this is the medicine, this is the sacred opportunity. And the joy that we found in the situation is, what other 40-year-olds get to live out of their car like college kids and feel this young and feel this joy. And I got to go in the ocean every single day, and I got to really figure out what makes me happy. And what makes me happy is love from from my heart that's overflowing with complete acceptance and acceptance that this is a privilege, that my life is a privilege, my breath is a privilege. It's a privilege to love you. It's a privilege to have this conversation with you. It's a privilege to be able to see your smile. Anahata, I'm looking at you. I'm seeing you. I'm feeling you. It is a privilege. It is a privilege. Everything is heart earned. And when it's heart earned, then it transcends space and time and can create in the quantum. And that's our sacred feminine frequency. So I'm just feeling all the feels from the encouragement and the reassurance that we're receiving right now and sharing with everyone who is listening. That no matter what you're going through, no matter how alone or endless it may feel the process, just know that alchemy is happening. You are expanding. Your heart is breaking because you're expanding. And feeling is good because it's a privilege to feel. And it's only the human mind that says feeling this is bad and feeling this is good. No, feeling is good.
Means you're alive. Yeah.
Feeling is good.
You know, I heard something, you know, the other day, is just like embrace the suck, right? Is
Embrace the suck.
embrace the suck. Like, yeah, this sucks. Like, yeah, you know, don't have a home right now, right? Or the bank account just did this thing where the zeros went the other way. Instead of adding zeros, it went backwards. It's like, oh, okay. And or my body's giving me this invitation to heal it and cleanse it and be still and rest. So I think that this is really valuable for those listening and watching to recognize that when you're going through the eye of the needle, when things are being shed or being shown, that is part of the magic, and to trust it and allow it. And the Hopi the Hopi tribe, the Native American tribe, lives just hours from here on a mesa, not far from here. And in the Hopi prayer, the prophecy, it talks about this time being a magical and a time where a river is flowing very fast, and it's exciting, and to push off into the river and like keep yourself afloat and see who else is there celebrating with you, and trust that the river has a destination. You don't have to like try to swim upstream. You don't have to navigate. And the Hopi also say that this is a time where, because the river is flowing very fast, there are those that will be holding on to the shore, and that will create pain and suffering because they're holding on, like we said, to the attachments or to the fear or to insecurity or a story or an ego, or it has to be like this, or a victimhood or whatever. We're holding on to a smaller version of ourselves, a substance, anything that is holding it back, that it is the holding, the gripping so tight. I don't want to let go of alcohol, or I don't want to let go of this relationship. I don't want to let go of this house. I don't want to let go of this career. That is what's creating the suffering, that is keeping us from opening our hands and allowing something better to come into our lives, and also for us to experiencing something that's in greater alignment for our soul, and to trust those times when it gets rocky, and just be like, what if I just
let go?
Let go.
Yeah.
And
a raft will show up.
Right? Yeah, a raft will show. Like I just posted something on this today of just like leap, and your wings will appear.
Absolutely. And I had to know that for a fact.
Yeah.
I couldn't just read books. It wasn't enough. I didn't, Abraham Hicks and Eckhart Tolle. Yes, those are good for them. But is this real for me? And I had to figure it out. I had to test it.
All right. So yes, and we both have tested it lots of times. Just like when I do that clairignorance thing, I've tested that a lot of times too, where I'm like, okay, let me test ignoring this. And sure enough, it hurts, or it's painful, or it's the wrong thing. And I just have more to clean up because I didn't listen earlier, which was, a great lesson. And so real quick, what are 3 tools or tips that you use, whether it's daily practices or whatever, to help you to remember and connect to fullest potential, quantum field, higher consciousness, fifth dimensional realities? Like, what are 3 things that you do in your everyday life that really help you stay connected to that?
Okay, so you said it. You said daily practice. So I have a daily practice, and it is the sadhana practice. It's the Brahma Muhurta sadhana practice, which is you could find the carousel on Love All 5D on our IG. We explain everything about how to incorporate this practice for yourself. But for me, I bring all of my energy work and all of my awareness and all of what I want to create during these creators hours. It's 156 minutes before sunrise. You wake up every single day. Well, you could do you could start out for 40 days, but I've actually been doing it for more than 10 years now, every single day consecutively. And you take your ice cold shower and you go into practice, which includes Kundalini yoga, meditation, creation, mantras. I do my grid work. I do my crystalline grid work. I do ascension work on behalf of the planet. Once I've cleared everybody in my field, then I start to do the work for the planet. And so I go into service. I tune in every single day to feel into who I can serve and who is open to receiving that
Yeah,
service. And so,
beautiful.
yeah, so I never, we honor everyone's boundaries, energetic boundaries. And so I come from a place where everybody's doing amazing. Everybody, it may not look that way to my human eye, but everybody's got their higher self working with them, and everybody's creating exactly what exactly what they need. And so for me, the work really is um, putting that frequency, that high frequency, into that materialized reality, that I can encourage myself that this reality exists, and I live that reality every day. And so it's undeniable that it exists. If I
Right.
just do that every single day, and if you just do that every single day, and if every single person did that every single day, then we be living on our heaven and earth reality. And for those who are letting go of the stream, they're living that heaven and earth reality. So yes, those,
Yes.
you know, creating a morning practice, creating some practice where you're creating
Yeah.
and also purging and releasing and confronting and allowing. Those are the things you do that on a daily basis. This isn't church on Sundays. This is you
Right.
and your essence and your life, and every single thing manifests throughout the day what you create that day. So it's not this big scope of I've got to do this 10 years from now. It's every single day you have the power to create magic and miracles.
I think this is the craftsman's work. The master's work is not to go read a line in a book once a month, but the real master hones their craft. And if we are spiritual beings having a human experience, if we are bringing human consciousness to humanity, then we hone our craft. And I call it the inspire hour or the empower hour. That it's for me, it's an hour in the morning of just getting clear. And I haven't taken the cold shower first. I usually do that after, but I'll work
Mm.
that in and see, because it does certainly waken you up. I love a cold shower. I was just doing a cold plunge here yesterday on the land to just get in the water to wake up the senses. But however, that hour of quiet time in the morning is really essential. And earlier, before all the busyness, I love that you talk about before the sunrise, because that's the yogis, that's the spiritual masters always rose before the sun, because that is when we are still in a different brainwave state before the sun starts awakening our brain and we go into doer mode. And so you're talking about the spiritual window where
Yes.
where we can access those realms of consciousness more easily, is during
Yes.
that pre-sunrise time. And so, yes, meditation, breathing exercises, yoga, listening, clearing, calming. I like to do first just a shush, kind of like a
Mm.
shush, where like I'm just quiet the mind, Then I go into that dreaming space of seeing, feeling, and allowing the co-creation of the experience to be to put the vibration of what I feel out to the universe. And
And
then
watch the magic happen all day long. The
it does.
magic will, it'll all show up. What you
Exactly. I'm
create in
just
the
like,
morning, yeah,
feel
you
it, feel it.
can at the end of the night you could say, "Oh, did that work?"
Yeah,
And then the
right.
next day you refine.
What is the vibration that I need to be at to experience this? Well,
Yeah.
let's have the experience, because that would be the vibration, whether it's making love underwater in Kauai, like I can do that,
Where
like
did that come from? Anahata?
my morning meditation.
Are there dolphins around?
I'm just saying that, like,
You're
I can,
just
I
thinking
can
though.
have underwater love making. Sure, why not? Right? If it puts me in the frequency of like cosmic sacred, mermaiden, merman union, like, why not? Okay, this is what it feels like. Okay. But if it is service, like, what does it feel like to serve in my highest capacity? What does it serve like to co-create with my soul tribe and transform humanity? What does it feel like? And so being in that vibration,
Yeah,
and then just being in the vibration of receptivity. Okay,
receive.
creator, higher self, show me. Just listening, not, oh, I can't do that, not, getting in the story, but just in that receptive space, doing some creative writing, doing some journaling, gratitude journaling, something, so that you are really in a high frequency before you start the day. So I think that practice, however somebody crafts it to fit um their life and their lifestyle, is to prioritize that, because you will be
Absolutely.
a better parent,
Yes.
you will be a better human, you will be a better neighbor, son, daughter, brother, sister, partner,
Yes.
lover. You will be a better citizen of Mother Earth for sure.
Mhm.
Oh, yay, sister. And I'm excited for you to come here when I'm in Costa Rica next, because that's where you are, which will
Yes.
likely
When
be
are
in
you coming to
spring.
Costa Rica? Mhm.
I'm coming, I think, spring. Um, the next time will be spring 2020. So, and I
Oh,
may
okay.
even be bringing my little twins, my dolphin twins.
Oh,
I'll bring
okay.
I'll bring them with. So I'll be doing some retreats in Costa Rica. But
Mhm.
we have gifts. We have gifts. Hey, if you're still
Yeah.
listening, if you are still tuning in, you get rewarded with some free gift goodies. So tell them what we have for them. It's
Well,
like
we
a gift
just
show.
completed a really successful Sacred Feminine Frequency Challenge where, like, I don't know if I mentioned it here, but we helped people, women, grow their energy up from when they are that primal toddler little girl energy where they're throwing tantrums, like you said, and the nappies and all, and then to teenager where it's all eye rolling and I'm, so we were able to guide the beautiful women who showed up to help them elevate their frequency consciously and confront all that stuff that's really hard to confront within ourselves when they're not clear.
Yeah.
They're not, and these archetypes are very, very clear. We all
Yes.
have them within us,
Yes.
and you could go through all of them within 5 minutes.
Yes.
So it's not like I'm a little girl in the morning and then I'm a teenager in the afternoon. No, we're just talking, we're literally different things will call up different parts of yourself. And so this Sacred Feminine Frequency Challenge helps you really get in touch with the parts of you that is actually creating your reality and then
Yeah.
bring conscious awareness to it. So we want to share that with you and your audience. Um,
So that'll
it's
be in the show
promo code
notes.
Anahata and it's 50% off. And
Woo! Go get it. That is a
yes,
very
well,
nice gift. I think that weaves really, really nice with the womb healing sacred feminine. That combo seems like a winning, magical, up leveling.
yes.
Like, so go get
Well,
that.
you're starting at the womb and then I got
Yes.
children. And
Yes.
then, yeah, and
All
then we
like,
end with the goddess creator. So
yes. So go do that. Get the code.
beautiful.
Go get the code. It's going to be in the show notes for the podcast landing page. So go grab that. Go get 50% off. We also have a free gift that is a guided visualization to balance the feminine and masculine, the left wing and the right wing. So go get that as well. And so, can you tell everybody again where to find you, your website,
Things
your
you are
Instagram?
creating.
What?
Yes. I said between those two things, you've become creator.
Oh, right. Like and healed the weeds in the garden. I mean, that's the whole thing. Is it's just to move everything out of the way and then
Thank
get
you.
the,
Thank you so much, Anahata. Thank
for sure. Okay, so tell everybody your website and also your Instagram again.
you.
So tell everybody your website and your Instagram again.
Okay, it's at love. Mhm.
Okay,
Okay,
so
our website is www. I'm such a dork. It's loveall5d.com, and our Instagram is at loveall5d.
okay, we will have both of those in the show notes
In the
because
interweb.
yes, in that place. So I think it's just so valuable. Please go follow this sister. They've got a lot of wonderful resources to really up level you with the tools to amplify your life. So definitely go follow, go check that out, and go get 50% off the course. That's fantastic. I think that's wonderful. Those two are going to weave together to be like the best ever duo, double up. And sisters, because these events that are coming up are for sisters. We have the Women's Soul Awakening retreat that is happening in September 17th through the 19th. If you are called, if you are on a soul mission and you want to really get clear on your path, next steps, and your plan to get there, that's what that weekend is all about. And it's amazing. And then, of course, the Goddess Retreat, Awakening the Sacred Feminine. So much beautiful ceremony, healing, and sister connection. That is October 7th through the 10th. And the Awakening the Sacred Feminine, the Womb Healing course, that is now a sister course to Biji's course, because they are sacred sisters and they will dovetail and amplify each other if taken together, right?
I love that.
I love that. It's just if you're interested in quantum leveling up, do that. If that's not you're in the if that's not if you're not into that, then that's not you because you wouldn't be listening if that's the case. So so grateful. So grateful. And if there was something soulful, something valuable, something helpful, please, everybody listening and watching still, like, share, subscribe so that you can have the latest episodes and be up on when we announce the newest podcast chats. And please tag a friend, share this so that other people can hear this beautiful conversation and the sweet, sweet, delicious energy of Biji, the beautiful goddess. So, mwah. Thank you, sister.
Thank you so much, Anahata. Thank you so much for having me and all the beautiful audience who are tuning in and showing up for yourself, your light community, your soul purpose, and on the planet for the ascension. Thank you, thank you, thank you for receiving.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. And I will see you in Sedona very soon.
You're totally manifesting.
Yes, yes, I've already seen it because I'm such a clairvoyant with my little crystal ball. I've already seen us here dancing on the red rocks, doing ceremony to the elements and Mother Earth. So I've seen it happening. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Love you and thank you.